Ja gut, herzlich willkommen bei Talk im Terrorturm. Ich habe hier 4 honorable Professoren in Sachen Rockmusik und wir werden über Rockmusik heute Abend sprechen. Ist immer ein Thema und ich würde zunächst meine Gesprächspartner bitten, sich kurz vorzustellen. Gentlemen, we have 4 honorable professors of rock music here tonight. So, if you would give a short introduction, who are you and what's your job? Starting with you.
I'm LG Petrov, singer in Entombed. Guten Tag.
I'm Scott Kelly, sing and play guitar in Neurosis.
Alex, play guitar in Entombed, I think.
I'm Steve, I play guitar and sing in Neurosis.
Right, so we talk about rock music. First of all, you're in your 20s, early 30s probably. So you're not kids anymore.
Yes.
And but still there's kids coming to your shows. Now if you compare, if by the time you were going to shows and see bands and nowadays kids coming to your shows, what would be the main difference of the reception of young people in rock music?
Well, it's so much it's out of the underground now, you know. It's much easier to, it seems like it's easier to find the music nowadays because the underground has been around for so long that it's too big, you know, to be underground completely. So, you know, I mean, you can come and see Entombed and Neurosis, you can find an ad in the newspaper and go. Whereas when I was, you know, 13 or whatever, you just find out about these weird things somebody would tell you, you know, Black Flag's playing Saturday night. It's such and such a place, you go there.
Totally underground.
Yeah.
I started, we just, you know, didn't know about all the underground stuff. We just went to like the Iron Maiden show and, you know, like that sort of thing. Never, like, when you were about 8, 9 years old, I was always into like Kiss and Iron Maiden and stuff.
Underground music seemed to be way more controversial when we were kids. It doesn't seem like a kid walking down the street with a mohawk is anything that society's going to get in an uproar about anymore. It's mainstream fashion that you can see in any shopping mall in Europe or the United States. You know, it's pop culture now, whereas before it was a extreme alternative to pop culture.
It seems that a lot of what's called rock music nowadays is designed in a way. It's meant to be this and that, and it's meant to be this particular genre, and sometimes it's lacking feeling, to my opinion.
I mean,
Definitely.
it's like people are always like, everything is accelerating, you know, everybody's looking for the next trend or whatever, you know, it seems... When we write the song, I guess it goes for both bands, you're just trying to make something timeless, you know, something that will, if it's a good song, it should be a good song in 5 years, and because we all listen to like lots of different styles of music. It's not just metal or whatever, and it's like the whole discussion of what is metal and is it metal enough anymore, and it's just Spinal Tap, the whole thing, you know, like.
What's your motives for playing rock? Or that kind of music that you play particularly?
Stay creative and keep moving, you know, to see the world and to stay out of trouble. Same reasons as always, really, you know. I think that's probably why kids go to shows too, you know, get into music. I mean, it seems like there's more reason now than ever to be grabbing a hold of music or something to lift you up out of where you're at, because things have only gotten worse since we were kids. I mean,
Do you still feel as an outsider, just judged by what you're doing?
Yeah, I feel good about it because I don't want to. I don't want to be a part of the whole of the rest of, society, I guess.
totally agree.
I feel it's like don't have anything in common with that sort of thinking.
If you're a father, or, you know, or a mother, then you got a responsibility to your kids, you know. So then they go out and you know, and everybody has their little bit in society or whatever. I mean, even outsiders are a part of it, you know. So I mean, I just raise my kids to, you know, do what they really want to do, and to be happy, not to feel that they have to go do some pre-designed, you know, school, work, family, death.
Do you think that the kids are confused when it comes to having a certain attitude?
Yeah, because like they're like one trend is you got to look this way, and then they got to throw all their old clothes away so they can fit in with that crowd. And because you see people that they do that. You know, some kids, they just 1 month they do this, and like a few months later they try to fit in with the skate crowd or whatever. And you know, so.
But that's the way kids are. You know?
Yeah.
Kids are confused. That's the way they always will be. Because I see that in my, you know, my kid now. You know, my son, he's like 10 years old, and he's starting to get into this. You know, he likes this. He sees what everybody is doing, and he gets, you know, he catches on, and you know.
Because everything's moving faster now.
Yeah.
Faster and faster, so they have to change every 5 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, you got to give them something to hold on to there. Definitely something to like anchor yourself down in this sort of like whirlwind that the world has turned into.
There's always the chance that music can move people emotionally, and that's the main thing, you know, that regardless of what extremes have been gone to, still it's a very small percentage of bands that actually move somebody's feelings, actually make people feel something real, you know, so that you're always going to have the small percentage of bands that are going to come out and just really do something original and heartfelt, you know, from their soul, and that's always going to move people. I mean, like Jimi Hendrix is old news now, right? But nobody has yet to ever have captured what he did or even do anything remotely close, because he was so far beyond in the spirit world and with his heart and soul that, you know, it's timeless.
It's very often to read that rock stars per se are a dying breed, that probably, I don't know, Kurt Cobain was the last rock star who died, and all the others that are still around, I don't know, people like Mick Jagger or Keith Richards, that they're just old. And but the role model of a rock star, like in the late 60s and 70s, has probably vanished. Would you agree?
No, not really.
I wouldn't agree. I think some people are born to be like that, you know.
Yeah.
Just look at Oasis, or something like that, you know. It's like some people were born to be that sort of icon, you know. I don't think you see any of it sitting around here. You know, we're all like, we just kind of like, we're more like just like musician, traveler, working type, you know, like whatever. I mean, it's not, some people are just, you know, they're Madonna or whatever. I mean, you know, people like that, there'll always be people like that, I think, you know. And they'll always go out in a big flash like Kurt Cobain or whomever, you know. It's just, it's like a pre-designed life.
When you would play very simple electronic techno music, is this justified to be rock music, and is this okay for kids to listen to?
People listen to whatever they want.
Yeah.
But rock and roll is played with guitars. By definition. It's
And the
Chuck
rhythm
Berry.
has to be done with sweat and blood, not by a machine for the most part. I mean, there's always an exception to the rule, and there's no hard rules of defining rock. But yeah, the whole sweep of techno music is, it's, as a working, traveling rock band, it's really depressing to have to get the show over with by 11 o'clock at night and get your gear out of the club. So kids can come in, twice as many kids can come into the show, pay twice as much money to watch a guy play records. Yeah. That's bullshit.
Catch yourself one time where you had a feeling of really standing above the crowd, not just in a literal sense, but also in a sense where you feel like superior just because you are singing on stage?
No, we're with the audience.
It makes us feel equal to stand on the stage. You have to understand that to get on the stage, you feel about this small before you ever step on a stage in the first place. So the whole reason we're up there is because we have these fucking little shattered egos, and we need them to be built up by having people look at us.
But it's working.
It helps. It helps. I mean, I feel like I'm a human being now. Like I don't feel like I'm a failure. I feel like I can do something. But I never feel above the people that we're playing for. If anything, I feel more like an animal at the zoo. You know?
Yeah.
I'd be like
That's
you
the
know.
feeling.
Sometimes you know,
I feel like
you get the feeling that people are like paying money to see demonic possession or something. You know.
But I mean,
you know.
music is not like politics, because I get the feeling that they feel that like they know something that, or they probably do also, like the politicians know something that the people are not supposed to know, and they feel like above them.
Right.
But music is like the opposite of that for me, anyways.
So it's like laying it all out.
Yeah, you're trying to make people think, and I mean that show just get their energies out and flowing, but just.
How much political impact can rock music still have nowadays?
I think it's boring. Like
It's totally boring.
politics and rock, it's like.
It's the worst.
Art and politics don't mix.
No, politics don't mix with anything, basically.
Politics is for politicians. You
Yeah.
know? Musicians
And
should
it's
stick
only
to
for
music.
politics.
Yeah.
Music is a spiritual thing, man. It's about your spirit and your soul.
Yeah.
Politics is about power and
It's about money.
who's going to control who, you know? It's like, oh, you don't control us right, let me control you. I'll show you how. My system's better than yours. That's all a bunch of crap. And I think that there's revolutionaries and there's musicians, and I know revolutionaries and I know musicians, and they aren't the same people. Revolutionaries don't sit here in front of cameras and talk about it. They go out and do it. It's a real thing. It's not a slogan. It's not a T-shirt. It's not a poster. It's an action.
Is rock music something you would call art in every sense of the word?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Art, yeah. It's
Something that you create every night, and you can never get the exact thing again. So it's,
always different.
somebody said like he thought it was the highest form of art, because it's like only happens once every
It's the
night.
meeting of like science and religion, you know, or something in art.
'Cause if you do a painting, it's still there.
Yeah.
Create something on stage, it's just
Where do you
there
see
for
it?
the moment.
Only the devil's died into